This is Lesson 1-5, Angle Pairs. Alright, so we've got some new vocabulary. Adjacent angles. They are two angles with a common side, a common endpoint, and no common interior points. So here's a drawing of a couple of different pairs of adjacent angles. Angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent angles. And angle 3 and angle 4 are adjacent angles. Because 1 and 2, they both share a vertex right here, and they share this side. They do not have any common interior points. Angle 1 has interior points in here, angle 2 has interior points in here, but they don't share any interior points. Same with 3 and 4. Vertical angles are two angles whose sides form two pairs of opposite rays. Now, the definition of it is actually more difficult than what it really is. You get vertical angles if you have two lines that cross and make an X. So we have this line here. So where the opposite rays come in is if I have a vertex here, I've got one opposite ray going out this direction and one going out this other direction. And then the same thing with the other line. Use different color. We have one opposite ray that going this direction, or one ray, and then we have an opposite ray going that direction, which results in the full line. So you have two lines that cross and make an X. The angles that are across from each other are called vertical angles. So angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles. That would be what we call a vertical angle pair. And angle 3 and angle 4 are vertical angles. Now, there's a rule about vertical angles that we need to remember or learn and know. Vertical angle pairs are always congruent. So, angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and angle 3 is congruent to angle 4. All right, what else do we have here? Complementary angles. Complementary angles are angles whose sum is 90 degrees. So I have a picture over here. I see this little right angle symbol in the middle. So 1 and 2 are adjacent angles, but together they form a whole of 90 degrees. So they're complementary. Angle 1 and angle 2 are complementary. I'm just going to abbreviate that. And if you notice, if A is 47 degrees and B is 43 degrees, those two amounts add up to 90 degrees. So angle A and angle B are also complementary. But if you know angles are complementary, you know they have a sum of 90 degrees. Supplementary. Supplementary angles are angles whose sum is 180 degrees. So in this picture, you'll notice that angle 3 and angle 4, they are adjacent angles. They're right next to each other, but together they form a straight angle. And the measure of a straight angle, this whole amount here, would be 180 degrees. So I know that angle 3 and angle 4 are supplementary. Oh, left out the 4. And here I have a 137 degree angle. If I talk about angle B up here, angle B and angle C are supplementary because they have a sum of 180 degrees. All right. So let's do some examples here. Name an angle or angles in the diagram described by each of the following. So we want one that is supplementary to angle AOD. So let's find angle AOD here. Okay, here's A. O would be the vertex and D is down here. So angle AOD is this angle right here. And we want something that added together with that will give us 180 degrees. So we need basically what would form a straight angle. And so if we look right next to it, if we go angle DOC, together those two angles would add up to 180 degrees. So angle DOC is supplementary to AOD. You could also go the other direction from that angle. If you look at AOD and look at AOB, together those two things would add up to 180. So you have two possible answers there. All right, B, we want one that is adjacent and congruent to AOE. All right, so where's AOE? Here's AOE. That angle is 90 degrees because it has the little square in the corner. So basically, we need to find an angle right next to it that is also 90 degrees. That would be this angle right here in green, EOC, because this would be 90 degrees as well. All right, next one, supplementary to EOA. So again, supplementary means that they add up to 180. EOA is actually the same angle we were talking about. AOE and EOA are the same angle. They are, and that is 90 degrees. Well, what's supplementary to it? Another 90-degree angle, which would be this little corner right here. So actually, C has the same answer as B, angle EOC. Now we want one complementary to angle EOD. So here's point E, O is the vertex, D. So we're talking about this angle right here. Well, it tells us that's 60 degrees. To be complementary, it has to add up to 90 degrees. So if we combine this angle in here with this one right here, those two together will be 90 degrees. So my angle that is complementary to EOD would be the angle DOC, this angle. All right, now we're looking for a pair of vertical angles. So remember, vertical angles would be a pair of angles if you've got two lines that cross and make an X. So if I just highlight here, let's see if I can find my highlighter. I have this straight line here, and then I have this straight line here. Those two lines make an X. And when they make an X, the angles across from each other in that X are going to be vertical angles. So this angle measurement right in here is going to be the same as that measurement. So those angles are vertical to each other. So this one up here is AOB, angle AOB. And which angle is across from it? DOC, this angle down here. Now, that is not the only correct answer for that. Because you could also look at this angle, angle AOD, this one right here, and the one across from it would be BOC. Those two angles would have the same measurement, and they're vertical angles. Okay, example 2. Given that angle E is a complement of angle J, and measure of angle J is 36 degrees, find the measure of angle E. Well, complement means sum of 90 degrees. So, if J is 36, then E is going to be 90 minus 36. And that is 54 degrees. Because if they're going to be complementary, complements of one another, they have to have a sum of 90. Alright, I'm going to pause there and stop this video, and we'll do second page in the next video.